So, you want to see a facelift, eh? Well, let me get that for you. Ah, there we are. The dynamic shadow slider has been turned up, people. You can thank me later. We have a brand new cinema opening in my hometown this week, and it looks great. I'll be going at some point later this month to see the new Guardians of the Galaxy film, but this reminded me of some other times I've been at the movies. Mainly bad times. Yep, that's what we're going to discuss today, otherwise known as bad times at the movies. So, just to give you a few examples of bad times at the movies, I remember going to watch the James Bond movie Casino Royale. Not bad actually. I was sat watching the film, and every time a line was spoken, I heard the same line happen again. I was at first confused, thinking that something was wrong with the audio. I then realised that the second voice was always a woman, and it was coming from behind me. It turned out that there was a mother and her young boy sat directly behind me, and every time a line was spoken in the movie, the boy turned to his mother and asked what they said. The mother then repeated the line word for word. I was listening to the same movie twice. I didn't say anything because I'm an introverted, awkward guy. I'm a lover, not a hater. And this happened throughout the entire film. I don't think many people can say they saw a movie twice in the same sitting like that. Okay, so the next story happened when I went to go see Toy Story 3. Now, you can probably already guess what this is going to be, but just go with me on this one. Me and my generation grew up with these films. We were pretty much the same age as the human character Andy in the films, and essentially grew up with the franchise. When they announced they were making a Toy Story 3, woohoo! However, I didn't expect it to be the eye-watering experience it actually was. I was there with all my friends, so I couldn't exactly admit that I cried like a little bitch in front of everybody. Luckily, the 3D glasses covered my shame, so nobody saw me weep when Andy decided to go to college and... No, I can't do it. It's all become a bit too real for me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in... Oh, I can't do it. Don't get me wrong, it was a great movie, but it really pulled at the heartstrings and took me by surprise. This last story is probably the worst of them all, quite frankly. One of the worst movie-going experiences I've ever had. I don't even remember the movie I saw because of how bad this was, but it was release day of this film, and me and my friends tried to get seats for this movie, but it was almost booked out, so we essentially just had to find some random seats that were dotted about the movie theatre. No single seat had another one next to it, so we were just sat by ourselves. Next thing I knew, I saw a couple which were both, let's say on the heavier side of things, walking up the stairs towards my row. Please don't sit next to me. Please don't sit next to me. Oh God, please don't sit next to me. The woman sat next to me. She spilled over into my seat, making it very difficult to sit straight up. I honestly thought to myself, I can live with this. It's just for the duration of this movie. Then the man walked past me and sat next to me. I now had two fat people sat either side of me, and both spilling over into my seat. Essentially, they were invading my personal space and vision. These two knew each other. I couldn't figure out how this could have happened. Did I pick the wrong seat? I double checked and I was definitely in one of the unbooked spaces. I realised at that stage that they'd probably booked it that way, so their fat could spill over into an empty seat so they weren't crushing against each other. Too bad I was sat there. These seats were not made for their size. To be honest, I could hardly even move, and the BO smell didn't really help either. I tried to ask if they wanted to swap seats, as you know, if they came together, you'd assume that they'd want to sit together. They ignored me. I asked a couple of times just in case they didn't hear. They did, but just stared forward and didn't even acknowledge my slim existence. I had no idea what to think at this stage, but the guy did something that would tip me over the edge. Without moving his gaze, he grabbed my drink and took a big swig without even asking, without even looking at me, didn't even signal he was going to do it. What? I was fuming at this point. I think that was the only movie I ever walked out of halfway through. Luckily, most times I go to the cinema and have a great time. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the awesome fan art on screen and be sure to follow me on Twitter and subscribe for more. I hope you enjoyed that drink, you fat fuck.